On the program today here on Network Africa, Garissa University, scene of deadly attack by Somali militant group Al-Shabaab in April 2015, reopens again. Iran continues to wade in the conflict between the Nigerian military and the Shiite group in Kano State, requesting the release of the group's leader, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki. Also, reports of Lassa fever breaking out in Nigeria's Taraba state. The State Commissioner of Health says one person has been confirmed dead, while 2 others are being observed. Network Africa. Hello everyone, I am Amarachi Ubani. Welcome to 2016. But we will begin on a sad note today. Reports say fighters set to be from the Islamic State clashed with government forces near Libya's Sidra oil ports east of Sirte. Details of the attack are still sketchy, but local media says the fighters were pushed back and prevented from entering. 2 members of the Libyan faction were reportedly killed in the attack. Now, IS militants have been trying to gain control of the oil port since December last year and have been operating in Libya for about a year now. Also today, the doors have been opened again to Garissa University, the scene of a bloody attack by Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab in April last year. Nearly 150 people were killed in the attack, throwing the nation into mourning and causing security concerns for neighboring countries. A school was shut down. Some 650 students were given placement at a sister camp in Eldoret to continue their studies. They're now not expected, though, to return to Garissa now that it has been reopened. But France did step into the situation, offering aid for about 109 students who were injured in the attack. As much as $1,500 has been set aside in a fund for those students who are expected to return after they're done with their studies. Well, joining us now to discuss the reopening of Garissa University is Ferdinand Bonguela, who will be joining us much later on the program. In the meantime, the U.S. has shut its drone operation in south of Ethiopia. The U.S. military has been operating a base in Araba Minch, some 400 kilometers south of the capital Addis Ababa, to launch the remotely piloted aircraft since 2011. At the time, the U.S. told correspondents then that the drones were being used only for surveillance and not for airstrikes. They were part of U.S. counterterrorism efforts in East Africa aimed at groups with links to Al-Qaeda. Security experts in the region say that the drones from Ethiopia were used to launch attacks on the Al-Qaeda-linked Somali militants who were, of course, Al-Shabaab. And when we come back on Network Africa, we'll have that discussion with Ferdinand Bonguela, whom we understand is on the line right now. Ferdinand, thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
Welcome.
So what's the mood like in Garissa? I mean, with the reopening, what's the reaction? Are people happy about it? What are the students saying?
Yes, the reaction in Garissa is quite good, actually. You have to know the college, the economic minister of the region. Yes, so a lot of people are happy that it has reopened, and of course, the security situation has vastly improved. It's much better than it was 9 months ago.
Did the government say anything about provision of security at the university in light of what happened in April? It's just about 9 months since that attack that happened in April. Has the government said anything about beefing up security in Garissa or in the town itself?
Of course, everybody knows the story 9 months ago. The attack happened and we lost 148 people. But the university itself has decided that it was time to reopen the college. Of course, there are a few things that need to happen before it's fully operational. It's not fully operational right now.
I know I mentioned that about... okay. Go on.
Pardon? So what I'm saying is, of the students that were in the university, we had what we call government-sponsored university students and privately sponsored students. So the people who were supposed to report today, who are reporting today, are the privately sponsored students, because the government-sponsored students have already been moved to a sister campus in Eldoret, that's a couple of 100 miles away.
No, I did mention, just before I started speaking to you, that 109 students who were injured in the attack are being sponsored by France. Are they continuing their education in Kenya, or were they moved out? Because I understand $1,500 was given for their education and for these students to continue. Did they remain in the country, or were they taken out of Kenya to continue their studies elsewhere?
There were a few who were given scholarships outside the country, but the majority are continuing their studies in Kenya. If you don't remember, Garissa University College was a constituent college of Moi University. So once the terror attack happened, the remaining students were moved to the other campus, which is Moi University, which is still in Kenya. A few were moved outside the country, and a few were inside the governments to continue their studies in Kenya, but the majority are still in Kenya.
I'd like to talk about, the students who were injured in that attack, Ferdinand. I know that for a lot of them, the trauma of that day is still probably quite fresh in their minds. As they return to school, have they spoken to anyone about, what it's like coming back to Garissa University?
Right now it's still sort of, let's call it a waiting situation. But the majority of the staff members have reported back to school. It should be understood that most of the students that actually reported today are mostly from the local region, not really from the Vatican. If you remember that the security situation is a little bad towards the border with Somalia, where the college is situated. So the students who reported today, actually most of them from the locality. So it is still a wait and see situation to see whether once more students are admitted from the rest of the country, they report to the university. Because at present, it's mostly local students and people who live within the vicinity. Not people coming from far, because Kenyans from the rest of the country are still a little currently about the security situation, but it's incredible.
Ferdinand, give us an idea of what security really is in Kenya at the moment.
At the moment, it's actually doing pretty good. Compared to what was happening a year ago, maybe a few months ago, we've not had an attack, essentially a major attack. There have been a few attacks towards the border with Somalia. We should remember that we have a very long border with Somalia. So a lot of the attacks that have happened over the last day, somehow that policemen killed towards the border again, attacks using IED. But at present, the security situation is much, much better. Places like Nairobi that have started being a little bad, but now it's very good. So the security situation, we can say, compared to maybe last year and the year before that, when we had the Westgate attack, we are doing very much better now.
Oh, thanks a lot, Ferdinand, for bringing us up to speed on the situation in Garissa and in Kenya. We do hope you're safe as well as your colleagues, and we do wish, the students who are returning to Garissa University all the best as they continue their education in the university. We come back on Network Africa. Our focus is here on Nigeria. While Iran stepping into the situation between the Nigerian army and the Shiite sect in Kano, the Iranian government requesting the release of Ibrahim El-Zakzaki. Please join us again.